Yeah, we got to get this show on the road, bro.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, buddy.
Yo, that logo look mean though.
It
Wow.
does. I actually like it, bro. I mean, I don't
Just
know
hit
if
me
we're
right now again. Wow.
strutting our own ego. I don't know, but that
It
logo
wasn't
look
us
nice.
though. We giving credit to, the
Oh
person.
yeah,
It
oh
wasn't us.
yeah.
Shout out to our Elise, by
But
the
it
way.
was it
Recreating
was
greatness.
definitely rest in peace. Yeah, rest in peace.
So, it's dope logo. You got to shout her out, man. These episodes.
Absolutely. Respect the dead, my guy. All right. Trying to get some coffee, some music up. Check these vocals out here. How am I sounding to you? We sounding good here?
Sounding good, man. How I'm sounding? No mic, but I'm good. I'm coming through.
Yeah. About that mic though. When's that mic coming?
I'm working on it. Yeah. My wife just said I'm drinking milk, basically. I got a coffee here.
Yeah, that's not real coffee, bro. That you should be ashamed of yourself.
Yeah, I'm not a real
That looks
one.
like coquito. You drinking coquito or something? That does not look like coffee. Coffee should be black.
My wife wants to make coquito now. Thank you. I think I was.
I got a couple of bottles for y'all if y'all want. I already have it in the freezer ready.
Yeah. We need to have you and your lady over for sure. I know you set that for us too, but we need to set that up. Yo, let's go, Brandon, bro.
Let's go, Brandon, baby. Let's go, Brandon, baby.
Yo,
I don't know if people out there know Let's Go, Brandon.
Yo, you just put me on today, by the way. I had no idea what was going on.
Let's go, Brandon.
Yo.
That's right. That's right. We might get fired out here. Let's go, Brandon.
Yeah, I wonder if people know what that's about. Like, because I had no idea until you really broke it down to me. That's why it's so funny to me.
You had no idea. None whatsoever.
Nah. I saw it, but I'm like, yeah, I didn't dig into it. I'm like, all right, whatever. It's something I missed.
You thought it was just like, who's Brandon? Like, who's that guy?
I knew it was something, but I'm like, yo.
Oh man. Let's get this show on the road.
Yeah, let's
get this going. I got something.
Let's start with Let's Go, Brandon, man.
Let's start with Let's Go, Brandon. Why not? Let's start with it. Here's an interview with our boy Brandon Brown, and this is where it all originated from. This is where it all started. Are we ready? Let's do it. I'm gonna click play on this joint right here.
Well, there you go. Winner of the
Oh, he's hype. Let's
You
go,
told
baby.
me before this race that if you were to win, it would be incredible. How does the reality of this moment live up to the dream?
Oh my God, this is just everything we've hoped and dreamed for. This is everything I've ever wanted to do is take the trophy home to mom and dad, and oh my God, thank you so much, Larry's Lemonade. Thank you so much, Trade the Chain. Thank you so much, Jabs Construction. Thank you, Mid-Atlantic. Thank you to all of our partners. Oh my God, it's just such an unbelievable moment.
Here?
Brandon, you also told me, as you can hear the chants from the crowd, let's go, Brandon. Brandon, you told me you were going to kind of hang back those first two stages and just watch and learn. What did you learn that helped you there in those closing laps?
I don't know if anyone can make it out. I don't know if anyone out there who can make that out.
Yeah. Go show them one more time. Just go back to
I don't know if they understand clearly what's
it
going on.
wasn't let's go Brandon, but go back so they can hear the chant because we need to see what this is.
Unbelievable moment.
Brandon, you also told me, as you can hear the chants from the crowd.
As you can hear the chants.
Let's go, Brandon. Brandon, you told me you were going to kind of hang back those first two
Oh
stages.
God, I can't. So if you, in case you miss it, it's fuck Joe Biden. Just to be clear, that's exactly what it
was
is.
not let's go Brandon.
It's not let's go Brandon.
Oh my God.
It's definitely not let's go Brandon.
No.
Just so we're on the same page, y'all.
All right. That was great. That was great. That was great. What I
do we got?
I want to
What do
show
we got
this.
here?
This is hilarious. This is a response to what Canada's doing. It sounds like just a comedy skit, but there's some truth behind this. I don't know all the details, but this is hilarious. Check this out.
Let's see.
The Canadian government has warned any employee that using the phrase "Let's go, Brandon" is grounds for termination. Let's go, Brandon! The Canadian government has warned any employee that using the phrase "Let's go, Brandon" is grounds for termination. Let's go, Brandon!
He says it, and he says it, and he says it. He don't care. He just says straight up, "Let's go, Brandon." Let's go, Brandon. Let's go. Yo, what about Vanessa? What about hold that one up? Let's get that one up. The Vanessa joint. I gotta see that one.
All right, let's pull one more up. All right, let's do
I gotta see it. I have to. I cannot help myself.
This is let's give another quick comedy skit. So this is, let me give some context. A Pfizer employee, all right, who's been caught leaking some of these documents about natural immunity, whatever. It was serious about COVID. She gets confronted by a journalist. And I'll just leave it there. This is her reaction. All right, where we at? Let's go.
I want to see this.
Hey, Vanessa? Vanessa Gelman, I'm
Senior Director.
Yeah,
why are you running?
This
ran, bro.
Yo,
she dead ran. What is good?
Yo, this is when you confront fake news right here. This is the reaction right here.
Hey, Vanessa? Vanessa Gelman, I'm a leader of Project Veritas.
Vanessa Gelman works in Washington, D.C. as Senior Director of Worldwide Research. From Vanessa.
Let me tell you about my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. She books.
Yo,
you can't write it any better than that.
Nah, you can't make this up.
Let me try to control myself here. Let me try to control myself.
Bro,
hello and welcome. You are watching us. You are tuning in live to our show, Drinks with a Nobody. I'm Macho, that's Savory, and you're watching us on Nobody TV. Welcome. Be sure to tune in on us on Twitch at MachoFix88 and at Savory_Edition. By the way, Savory_Edition is blowing up with TikTok. So be sure to look him up on TikTok as well. Same handle. And you can follow us on our YouTube channel in case you miss any of our content. Type in Drinks with a Nobody. Hit that subscribe button. Click that notification bell so you never miss a thing. Today is Sober Monday, as you saw with our opening, and we got some highlights for everybody. But before we get there, Lewis, tell them why we want them to stop and listen to our channel.
I'm gonna tell you right now, man. I'm gonna break this down in a few easy steps, man. If you want to talk about stuff that you normally don't hear people talk about, stuff that people are scared to talk about, this is our channel right here. Drinks with a Nobody. We break down culture, politics, and all kind of relevant topics that people are scared to talk about, man. Hopefully we don't get banned. Hopefully we don't get no strikes, because we holding no bars and we about to talk about it all. Feel me?
And we do this over a drink. I got my Kentucky lemonade here. Mr. Savory, what you got?
I got my iced coffee. My wife is telling me this is pure milk. Which
That's leche, brother. That's leche. They're lying to you.
Because it's 10% coffee, but you know.
That's leche, brother.
Fake coffee drink, I tell people. I am a fake coffee drink.
Do us a favor. Go into that fridge, grab your drink of choice, come back, sit back, relax, and be prepared to engage because we got a jam-packed session for y'all. Here we are. First highlight of the day. The Cowboys surprised the mess out of me. I don't understand. Did you watch that game, by the way? Did you catch it? Did you catch highlights?
I was watching some games from brother-in-law's crib. I was there for a while, but I didn't really catch the whole game. That was the night game, right?
First off,
not in the middle of the game.
It went down to the wire. It was the evening game. Yeah, it was the 4:50, 4:30 game. And it looked like the Cowboys were running away with it. And then the Patriots came back, hit them right in the mouth. And the next thing you know, I think it was like tied. And then all of a sudden, your boy, I think his name is Stephon Diggs, or I forgot his name. I forgot his first name. And I could be confusing him with the other Diggs. Anyways, the defensive back Diggs, the safety, he got a pivotal interception to put the Cowboys ahead late. I'm talking about 3 minutes to go, 4 minutes to go in the game. Okay. Next thing you know, the Patriots take the field. My boy Mac Jones, not my boy because I'm not a fan of the Patriots. Not a fan of the Cowboys either. But Mac Jones throws a one pass over the top to a wide receiver, Myers, to catch a touchdown to put the Patriots ahead with 2 minutes left in the game. 2 minutes left. So you think it's over? It's not over. Cowboys come back, score, or either they tie it with a field goal. They go into overtime and the Cowboys win. And I cannot believe they were able to come back that late. Usually I can hear of a comeback like if there's some time. 2 minutes left in the game? That joint surprised me. I didn't know the Cowboys have it in them. And I think the announcer, I think it was, I forgot, Tony Romo and some other fellow there. I think they said, yo, this is a playoff caliber team. This team is built to win the Super Bowl this year. And after seeing the way they played, they probably are going to go to the Super Bowl to play against the Ravens, in my opinion. The Ravens look solid. So I don't know what you think about that.
That's how you feel right there. Okay, yeah.
That's how I feel. I think it's going to be Cowboys Ravens. It might be too early.
I usually tune in football playoff time. Yeah. Same thing with basketball, man. Regular season for me. I know there's people who watch every regular season game. For me, I turn it up when it's prime time, playoff time. You know, that's for me very interesting. But football is probably a little different than the other sports. You got a lot of interesting games before the playoffs because only 16, 17 games, right?
That's true.
Yeah, I kind of tune in more even in football, to be honest, in the playoffs, you know. So
yeah, there's a lot of things going on in the playoffs. And moving on to the next topic, this is purely selfish. This one's for me because you don't watch hockey. Alexis Lafreniere scores his first goal in front of his mother and father. He was drafted last year, played last year, but never got to play in Montreal, where he's from, because of the whole COVID protocols. No NHL team was playing in Canada. So this was a big moment Saturday night when the Rangers beat the Montreal Canadiens 3-1. Lafreniere got one goal in front of his mom and dad. This was huge. He was a pro in Canada, but never got to play there as an NHLer, and this was huge for him. So shout outs to Alexis Lafreniere. He is on his way to becoming a true Lafreniere, bro. Come on,
that's fire.
French Canadian, bro. Come on now.
I'm feeling that name.
Also, here's a big one. Kyrie trade market. Who wants him? Not off skill. Not off skill, Lou. Not off skill. Who wants the man right now? He's radioactive.
Who wants him? I think it's a few teams. That would think he's a risk because of the past few seasons. He's been acting up, but his talent is so much up there that he's willing to take the risk. It's the difference between him and Colin is Colin Kaepernick didn't have the skill that outweighs the risk. You feel me? That's really the reality, right?
Colin did have no skill. He was finished. He was done for.
Exactly. So you're not gonna bring that drama in your locker room if you know you might not be worth it because your skill is not really up to par with the risk. The thing with Kyrie is he has a level of risk because of his past few years. I would admit that, but he still is valuable in the market because there's a lot of teams that are willing, with the right coaching they know and the right thing around him, are willing to take that. And it's not. I feel like it's interesting, but I think a few teams will want him. Which teams? I'm not sure yet. I'll have to look at.
I know the New York Knicks is one of them. Oof. They're interested in him. But my whole thing is like you say, he's not the skill set of Colin Kaepernick. He's way above that. You will get what you're bargaining for. But all the other antics is enough for me. Because what, you're going to miss 20 games because you want to? Or you're going to miss 10 games here, 10 games there because you're dealing with other matters off the court? Dude, the reason why you have a platform is that court first. That's my opinion. So start there and let everything else grow from there. And that's what's hurt him a lot. For example, what hurt Michael Jordan the most? Could be his gambling issues, but most importantly, it was the fact that he didn't play consistently. If he played all those years consistently, we would never have a debate of LBJ versus MJ. Never. It would always be Kobe Bryant versus MJ. LBJ wouldn't be in the conversation because we already know what kind of caliber Michael Jordan was. He was a specimen. There was something special about him, and his biggest downfall was stepping away from the game for 3 years.
Yeah.
That was his biggest downfall.
You can say that, yeah.
All right, on to some serious news here. Colin Powell, former state secretary, under 4 presidents, I believe. 4? Am I accurate in that?
I think 4, yeah, because we're talking about
dies at the age of 84. May he rest in peace. Now, I see a lot of conversation circulating around him, and I made a note here. Was he a war criminal or was he a hero? And I think you were reading some stuff up on the Wall Street Journal that gave or either listed some of his accolades. So let's go right ahead.
Let me do a brief. Let me break that down, right? I'll skim through it to give everybody a good idea.
Yeah, let's look through that.
All right, so let's go right here. So here we go.
There goes Bush. There goes Dick Cheney. There goes the man right there. The Swampian. There goes Swampian right there.
Swamp champions.
Yeah, there you go.
So we got right here. So I'm gonna just highlight some interesting notes for here. You ready? You ready? And let's get to it. So Clinton administration eventually intervened right here. So the Powell Doctrine, which was written into the U.S. National Security Strategy issued in 1992, would face his biggest 10 years. Boom. So invasion of Iraq, he was part of it, right? So that's one right there. State Department 2005. Served 2 tours in the Vietnam War, which largely shaped his 35 years of service in the U.S. He was wounded twice, falling into a bamboo trap, one of them. And then the second tour, he survived a helicopter crash. He was awarded Soldier's Medal for repeatedly returning to the burning helicopter to rescue others, including Major General Charles Getty. Okay, that's you know.
Sounds like a hero track to me. Okay.
Yeah, and check this out. This is where it gets pretty interesting right here, right?
All right.
Let's pull both of us in right here, you know. Let's bam.
Let's break this down. Right, let's break this down.
Bam. Let's pull both of us in here. All right. So we got right here. The tour wasn't without controversy. After his second tour, Mr. Powell arrived in Vietnam a little over 3 months after one of the units in his battalion massacred hundreds of Vietnamese civilians in the hamlet of My Lai. So that was controversy around him right there. Okay. So, you know, he's a decorated general, statesman who served, politician, kind of, you can call, right? Later was clear for a role, became known as the Iran-Contra affair, so he's been involved with a lot of national security.
And it looks like he worked for presidents on both sides of the aisle.
Yeah, that's a good thing to mention. Secretary of Defense Dick Cheney, administering the oath He was there. He was there through the Clintons, through the Bushes. He had a lot of ups and downs. The Obama administration, and even when Trump was there. So he has quite a resume when it comes to what we're talking about here with accomplishments.
So where do they get war criminal from? Where do they get that from? I'm curious.
I've been looking for it all day, man.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like they run out the gate with all of this, and they say things like, "Yo, he was a war criminal." Why would he be? First off, who's saying this? And is it bipartisan, or is it strictly partisan backlash? Because if that's the case, how are you going to get at him as a partisan when this man worked for both sides of the aisle?
Yep, this is him right here. Advisor Condoleezza Rice with Secretary of State Colin Powell in the Oval Office, 2002.
Shout out to Condoleezza. She's a legend as well.
She
is now the head. Condoleezza Rice, by the way, is the head of the Hoover Institution right now. She's a senior fellow there and the president there, by the way.
So another thing right here. So this is important to know before we move on right here. He criticized then President Donald Trump openly for his handling of the June 2020 of protests over the killing of George Floyd.
Okay.
Labeled quote unquote an unarmed black man by Minneapolis police, and he endorsed Joe Biden for president, right? So let's just put that out there because it's good to know where people stand. And I believe the thing about when you're in politics so long, and he might be a prime example of this, politics change, right? Was he always this? Where when I say this is like, you can tell that's probably more left-leaning, especially when you're criticizing the president off of George Floyd, which is a very left-leaning issue that took over the world.
Huge left-leaning issue, yeah.
Exactly. So it's like, this makes me think that he has a lot of, what would I call this, biases on one side, but I won't know if he was always like that, right? I won't know if he was, so, because a lot of these politicians, the years in office makes them corrupt. That's my logic always, right? These people might start.
Or
yep.
If we wanted to bring another spin to that, not only corrupt, makes them a little bit more like, approachable by both sides of the aisle. They're playing double agent here, and they're making all these deals under the table. Lobbyists know who you are. And you'll pretty much, after years of being there and there, says, okay, how much? Who's willing to pay me for me to broadcast this idea or to put this bill out? So is that corruption? I don't know, because you need lobbyists in our government, in my opinion. I know that conservatives will disagree with that. But I would say on the right too, there are lobbyists. Why are there lobbyists? Because it takes money to pass a bill, period.
Yeah.
If you don't have money to pass it, that means you can't support it. You can't support this. You can't enforce it. You can't pay people to do things. Now, how they use the money, that's a different story, in my opinion. So we'll probably have a whole segment on that.
Yeah, really quick, and then we'll move on. But what do you mean? You feel like we can't do without lobbyists?
We can, but think of how much we would have to now rewind for a bit. And are we ready to rewind? Are we ready to go backwards?
All right. What you're saying is so embedded into our political structure that it's going to be hard to unwind.
It's not all the way bad, but it's not all the way good either. It is something that, if it's like great power comes with responsibility, right? You have these big companies. For example, the NRA is a huge lobbyist in the federal government, but I support them. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's not all the way bad. Planned Parenthood
on the other side, right? So it's like, it's just, it's tricky, but I feel like, that's a whole different combo. But we should,
But I think he's a hero. It sounds to me, on paper, based on his accolades, he's a hero. If anyone has anything to prove it wrong, post that in the comments. We're interested in knowing some facts about that.
Oh, really quick. We protested when Condoleezza tried to visit my college, and it worked. She ended up backing off. I'm not sure what happened at that time.
She's the least problematic politician out there. You're not going to hear her or see her force her way into anything. She is a conservative through and through. If she's unwanted somewhere, she's not going to go. Period. She's not that kind of person. She's not a Donald Trumpian. She's not a Trumpian. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. She's not trying to fight you. She's just sorry. Yeah.
She's not a Ben Shapiro. She's not a Malakakis. She's not these people
These
who
Charlie
are
Kirk
like,
kind of people who are in your
yeah.
face trying to, gotcha. All right.
And by the way, a note on Bernard Kirk or Kirik. He was the former police commissioner of New York City. Had some very kind words to say about Colin Powell, whom is a known conservative. So I would say he said I didn't agree with his politics, but I did like the man as a person. That's the kind of
Breath of
politics
fresh
we
air.
need. That's the kind of politics we need in this country. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, I think those days are coming to an end.
Agreed.
All right, here's the next on the
Right.
tip here. Boy sodomized girl in the bathroom. Now, this happened, to be specific, to give some context here. This happened in June 22nd. A boy disguised, or actually
Of this year?
identified, yes, whom identified as a girl, was using a non-gender bathroom. I stand corrected because I asked you the question a couple of weeks ago. What is the real issue of cross-gendering in bathrooms? And I was like, is there any problem with that? And you said your answer was, what went wrong with the first way around it? Was that system broken? Was that this? I stand corrected. It turns out a boy who identifies as a girl used a girl's bathroom in this high school, raped and sodomized this girl in Virginia, in Loudoun County, Virginia. Okay.
Yeah. That. Yeah. Go ahead.
Check this out. When the father protested that this boy be dealt with, suspended, or removed from school completely, the father was arrested.
For?
I'm still unclear as to what those reasons are. The father in Loudoun County over the girl, the father of this girl.
What state? What state is this?
Virginia, Loudoun County, Virginia.
Oh, okay. Some type of discrimination kind of backfired. Or they used something against
They
him.
arrested the father for standing up and protesting against this, and said, and there was things like this, like being said while their arrest was made. My child was raped in school. Behind her, the victim's father is seen being arrested. The family says they were provoked by other parents. Then on October 6th, inside of Broad Run, this is another school, by the way, Broad Run High School, another girl was sexually assaulted inside of the classroom. Prosecutors have confirmed it was the same boy. This is not okay to allow a child that has been charged with rape to go back into a school, Brand said. So he was protesting, why is this person even in another school? This doesn't make any sense to me. You sodomized a girl in the 9th grade, and this is the whole idea of cross-gendering in bathrooms. The danger could be the bad wolves. I'm not saying everyone's a bad wolf. If you identify as you identify, and I know the people who are non-gendered or gender fluid are going to argue their case that that's not our community. That's not how we see it. That's not how we use this argument so we can get in there and do those things. But you don't realize the trade-off that happens. There are evil characters behind everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah, which the point I remember when you first asked me that was, I think to myself, what problem are you fixing by having these gender fluid identity, choose what I want to kind of situation with bathrooms? Like, if there's not a problem you can highlight, then I am not going to vote or comply with a kind of change. It's not about bigotry or hate.
Yeah.
It's about, we've been having men in women's bathroom for decades, if not centuries, and it's never caused a clear problem that you can say the correlation of men in women's bathroom is this kind of crime or this kind of
right.
You know what I'm saying? There's no correlation. Yes, there's crime that happens, but can you correlate it because it's all men and all? No, it's been working. So when I hear stuff like that, you have to present an argument that says, hey, this is why we need to change it. You can't present an argument that says we need to change it because that's the way I think it should be.
I'll take it even further. Don't just present the argument ignorant of the problems that may arise. Don't present the argument and say, hey, look, we have people in our community who are gender fluid now, and we want a bathroom that represents that. But also keep in mind that there's some problems that come with it. The problems is the bad characters who would disguise themselves as gender fluid and do exactly what this boy did.
Exactly.
And why does that have to why does the girl have to pay for that? Why?
This is the problem. We go into a kind of culture or a reality where everybody gets to make their own reality, right? We live in a kind of world that's ever changing, no foundation. That's why sometimes you got to face the fact that you're going to live in a world that your feelings or your demands might not be met. You know what I'm saying? This is the reality.
Yeah.
So if we can't govern or emphasize in our culture the norms of everybody should get what they want, what they feel, and who they're. No, at the end of the day,
And
look,
what about
harsh reality, that's not how it works.
Now, what if somebody says, "What are you talking about? What about systemic racism? What about the idea of seeing blacks as second-class citizens?" So you're saying they have to just live with that reality?
Well, how are you connecting that?
I'm connecting it as I feel this way, that I'm a human and I have my inalienable rights. Why can I get that observed?
Because there's a reality, right? The reality is what? The reality here is based on gender. There's a reality. The reality here is based on when you talk about Jim Crow laws and all that. You can point to something tangibly, right? My skin color didn't allow me to do something. It wasn't something objective. I don't feel like my skin color is this way, and it's something objective that as a society we've agreed on. When it like you just can't change the rules, and if you do change the rules, then who changes them next time, right? You can't make up rules. Is my point. We have gender, we have race, right? These are things that are connected to identity, right? These are things that you can tangibly argue, but now I can't just say.
And the assignment of the genders weren't biased, right? The assignment of the genders were purely scientific. This was a way for doctors to know how to treat women versus men. This
Yeah,
had nothing to do with looking at a person second class or having the stereotype to, to men or women or being outside of that. This had nothing to do with sexual proclivity. This had everything to do with how do we make this assignment, and should we make these classifications so that we know how to treat the differ, so we know how to treat the difference. So if we don't know how to make those assignments and make those decisions weren't made for 2021. Those decisions were made at the start of our, I guess, civilization. I'm not sure.
Yeah. We can't reinvent gender. That's really what it comes down to. Like you know what I'm saying?
Well, they'll say they're evolving it, not reinventing it. They're evolving it. They're adding to it.
Yeah, but again, they're not evolving it through a scientific method that you can kind of back up, right? We have X.
They're saying their argument is that it's more psychological.
We have X
psychological.
All right, let me say this. Scientifically proven right here, we have X and Y chromosome.
Mm-hmm.
We have two genders. Those two genders get together and make babies. There's never been a baby that's come out that's been biologically another gender or genetically. How do we know that? Because we know DNA, we know X and Y chromosomes, and we know body parts. There's no new body parts that came out. There's no DNA evidence that came out. What it is how I feel. That's the only thing that has changed in the involvement particular conversation,
Yeah, and we should actually talk about we should actually talk about how I feel versus reality. I think that's really important as well. But let's move on to this one. It's a really important one. This happened. This has been going on, been brewing. Are the Democrats getting nervous? Are the Democrats getting nervous? I have a clip for us to play. Let's play that.
Pass these bills and let's lift up our families.
Terry McAuliffe is sounding the alarm, fearful that the messy stalemate in Washington could spell trouble for him and his fellow Democrats.
You know what the stakes are.
He's running for a second act as Virginia's governor, but he's facing stronger than expected headwinds and potential fallout from a deep Democratic divide, threatening to derail President Biden's sweeping economic agenda.
We control the House, the Senate, and the White House.
And so this guy here, he's running for a second term in Virginia, Terry McAuliffe. And it looks like he's losing headway because of the things that we mentioned previously of the Loudon County, Virginia incident that's been going on. That has been brewing so much. Not only that, the whole CRT movement has been brewing in Virginia.
So that's affecting Virginia. That's big there. Okay,
It's
gotcha.
huge. It's huge to the point where protests are so big to the point where the DOJ had to come out and talk about maybe sending the FBI out to quail that, investigating anyone using or attempting to use any acts of violence. And it's like, what? Look, they're just trying to protest that they don't want CRT taught to their kids. How is that a problem? So here, that's why, and there's more to the clip. Let's add to this.
We need this infrastructure. I can tell you as a former governor, it is absolutely critical for our prison road. So let's get it done. Quit talking.
His November race could offer clues for the Democratic Party's prospects of keeping control of Congress in next year's midterm elections. With early voting already underway, he's locked in a tight contest with this Republican businessman.
All right, who's ready for a new governor?
Glenn Youngkin is a former private equity executive, trying to appeal to voters as an outsider.
It's no longer Republicans against Democrats. This is about Virginians standing up and saying no.
So
this left, liberal, progressive agenda, which has been trying to turn us into California.
So do you think this is a movement beyond Virginia, but a lot of Democrats are scared that they might lose their seat? A lot of Democrats, you feel, are getting nervous.
Well, what's going on? Yeah, great question. What's going on right now is, if you don't know, the governorship is up for a re-election in 2022. Same thing for Jersey, same thing for New York. So the reason why Democrats and Stacey Abrams, the people like the Stacey Abrams of the world, is getting nervous is because Republicans are making a huge headway against this whole notion of CRT, the non-gender bathrooms that are hitting these suburban areas, and also the mandates. The mandates have really affected people on both sides of the aisle.
Yeah.
They make it a conservative thing, but it's a human thing. People have questions. And when you keep telling them, don't worry about the questions, just get the vaccine, we'll answer them later. They're going to start asking you, like, hey, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Why
are
we
these
can't answer
states
this?
that usually you see a back and forth, Republican Democrats, or more historically Democratic states? That's why they're so scared.
Virginia, honestly, has somewhat been back and forth through the years.
Okay, I can see why they can be scared too.
Whereas, same thing for New Jersey. New Jersey's been back and forth because Christie was governor there not too long ago. And then you also have, in New York, you had the last Republican was actually Eliot Spitzer. God forbid what happened with that. That was a debacle. But then you go, it looks like, in my opinion, the way it looks like, another Republican might take governor here. Because you had X amount of years of Cuomo. Now Hochul looks like she's doing the same things. So
in New York, that would be huge. Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. If these governors start to turn and they become more red, would that change the mindset of the voters in those states? That's why this article came out. Are the Democrats getting nervous?
Got it. Good breakdown. Yeah, that's good. All right.
So let's see.
East Virginians are saying no more.
As Youngkin tries to turn the race into a referendum on Biden's Democratic agenda, McAuliffe is working to make it all about the man who still fires up Democrats like few others can.
So hold up.
Donald Trump wants to use this election.
This is something that's helping Republicans, right? So let me tell you what I mean by this is something, right? I just watched the New Jersey debate, the governor debate, with Phil Murphy and Jack Ciattarelli, right? Two debates. A lot of what Phil Murphy was doing to attack Jack Ciattarelli was, hey, this is a man running on the Trump agenda. Getting booed because people are tired of hearing that. It's like people are saying, yo, stop blaming your the president who's not even in office now for things that we are criticizing in our own state that's just happening for the past 4 years. And I'm realizing with this trend here, a lot of Democrats are not standing on their policy, are not standing on their success. what they're actually doing, it's attacking not even the person they're going up against, but the Republican Party, and using Trump as a scapegoat. I don't think that's
They're
working.
doing exactly what Joe Biden did. They
People
said,
are
don't
seeing through
vote. If you hate Joe Biden, just vote for me. Forget
Yeah,
what
yeah.
I stand for. Forget this. He triggered the heartstrings of people to say, you don't like Trump? Just vote for me.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, if you vote for Trump, you're not black. What are you talking about?
People are seeing through that. But yeah, let me see what he says right here. This is good. People are seeing through this, man.
To begin his comeback in this country. He said it. He's endorsed my opponent 4 times.
For the next 5 weeks, the Virginia contest offers a window into the lingering power of Trump, who believes Youngkin should embrace him more.
The only guys that win are the guys that embrace the MAGA movement. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
But also serves as a test of Biden.
So they're using that snippet there as if Trump was referring to this governorship, which this guy already said it's not about a specific person. It's about Virginians standing up for what's right.
Mm.
You see what I'm saying? You see what
Yeah.
CNN is doing here? And it's had another, first off, I don't know if anybody noticed, Trump has not done a rally. He's done a rally everywhere else but Virginia. He
Yeah.
has not touched Virginia. He's done it in Iowa. He's done it in, I forgot what was the other place. There was Florida. And he's doing this because they're running for Senate seats or they're running for House seats. But he's not going to some of these places like Jersey. He's not going to New York. He's not going to Virginia because these guys are not running on the whole Trumpian politics. They're running on their own. They want to stand alone. They probably told Trump, look, we want to stand on our own. They may support him. We don't know. But maybe they want to run on their own because we don't want to run on the coattails of just somebody else's success. We want to run it on our own. The Democrats, like you said, are hurting themselves. They're shooting themselves in the foot by keep bringing up Trump. Do you know how to stand on your own? You can't fight the fight yourself.
Exactly. Did another network cover this as well?
Right now, as I look on the news, it looks like CNN was all over this.
Okay, gotcha.
And again, CNN's got to be all over this because right now it's ran by a Democrat.
Yeah, yeah.
So they got to be. They're like, shaking in their boots for this. So again, this looks like they're running with the same old nonsense, and I don't think they're going to persuade a lot of liberals to win this fight. I really hope that we pull this out, and when I mean we, I hope the Republican wins in that. I hope the Republican wins in Jersey, and I hope the Republican wins here. Who I believe it's Rudy Giuliani's son, Andrew Giuliani, is running for governor in New York.
Oh, really?
Yep. And there was another one that I really liked. He's from Long Island. He's running for governor in New York, and he's well liked. He's well liked. So
let's see how many of these states could flip. That'll be interesting. The midterm elections are going to determine a lot for the presidential election. Yeah. So
and you have some skepticism. I want to kind of bring that to light a little bit. Do you have faith that the 2024 elections are going to go right? Are they going to go fair and square?
Right now, I don't, man. I don't.
Why? Let
me be careful with the words I use here. So I just don't have faith in there were so many election laws that were changed at a local level with
last minute
with extending dates, mail-in ballots, signatures, not needing an ID, like so much controversial things, right? And those are a few things that I named right there that are very important.
Yeah,
they're just passing their own individual laws in a lot of these states, right? And I believe both sides, cheat in elections, right? However you might seem that. The problem right now is Democrats have more power and control over the media, local judges, and these swing states and things like that. But at the end of the day, I believe both parties cheat. But right now, to answer your question right here is there's something that happened, right? That is telling me, especially with California, Larry Elder, where it's like you hear the voices of change. When it comes to the polls, it just doesn't match up to me. And then with the audits coming out, right? Arizona, Pennsylvania, and all these they I don't know if they prove anything, but you know what I do know? They don't want to dig further, so that makes me skeptical. So again, I'll end like this. I don't know if it's major fraud. I just don't know. But you're making me more skeptical because you don't even want to look deeper. So for me, it's like, all right, you don't want closure, so you're hiding something. How big? I don't know. You don't want to search it. So I'm not really
Well, they're saying it would open up a can of worms. It would delay the whole process. But you're saying more so, why didn't they look into it even after Joe Biden was certified?
Yeah, now I understand at the moment, but now that he's certified, you have an opportunity to bring it to courts and at least to take a look at it. Even if you shut it down, show me that you're looking at it. So
Yeah,
right
if
now,
Biden was
it's not like
gangster, he would be like, "Yo, look into this because I want to make sure that people know I won fair and square." Period.
he ain't about that life. And then
Al
the
Gore
last
did it.
thing,
Al Gore did it.
yeah, Al
He
Gore
said,
did
"No,
it,
no, no.
but he
Let's
took
look
the
into
L.
this."
So Biden ain't trying to take the L like that.
But he
The
wasn't
point-
sitting there crying that he won it fair and square. He knew
Look,
Bush won it.
let me end with this. Historically, whoever takes the White House, the midterm elections, we see some kind of flip on the other side. Republicans should be flipping some kind of seats, not only because what's happened historically, but because even the polls, Democrats and the country is not satisfied with what's happening, right? So if I don't see enough seats flipped, I'm also going to be very skeptical because I'm
He's
like,
got
yo,
like a
what's going on?
30%. What is it?
Approval rating.
Approval rating.
This
It's
is
pretty
crazy.
terrible.
Anyways, yeah, we'll see. 2022, we'll talk again after midterms.
Anyways, here's a big story that happened over last week. I think it was over the weekend, actually, probably Friday. Dr. Sanjay Gupta was daring enough to go on the Joe Rogan Experience. And here's a funny thing. Joe Rogan challenges him, but CNN doesn't cover it that way. Instead, they start saying, "Oh, he's going every which way," and they started talking about this. But here's a very interesting thing as me and Savory were looking into how CNN was covering that and what COVID actually is responsible for. So I want you guys to take a look at this. This is crazy.
Tangents, and he says there's a lot we don't know about this, that, and the other thing. Myocarditis, though, when you're talking about risks of myocarditis, which is inflammation around the heart, we know the risks of COVID causing that, don't we?
So this is what we dug up, and as we were trying to look at how CNN was covering, as CNN was covering the Joe Rogan Experience interview with Sanjay Gupta, this is what came out, that COVID is responsible for inflammation of the heart.
Yes.
Go ahead.
So I'm gonna put this right here, right quick. Let's swap those screens, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have Israeli study details myocarditis risk associated with Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine. This is an official study, right? This is a public study. So now, since they know the study's out there, they're going on CNN and they're going on this mainstream media outlets and saying, "Oh wait, but we know that if you're not vaccinated, that COVID-19 can actually cause myocarditis." And I'm like,
Where? And that's what I'm saying. How do you mix that up? Yeah, how do you mix that up?
You don't. You just lying. This is crazy.
I don't understand how you get that it was an upper respiratory infection to now a heart inflammation disease all of a sudden. How does that happen is what I want to know. And how do you not know that? How is your producers not yelling in your ear? Don't say that. And they're probably counting on you guys to not actually look this up.
Yeah. They don't want you to see the study we just showed you because we're not geniuses. We don't know the end. The
We're
problem
nobodies.
is the nobodies right here in front of you are just showing you the information you can easily dig up instead of listening to the news who's manipulating this information. So they take what's true, they acknowledge it, and then they flip it on its head. They don't ignore it. They ignore some of it, but anyways,
Peep the tagline here. Dr. Gupta goes into the lion's den to talk to a skeptic over Joe Rogan. What really happened during that 3 hours? Are they going to really reveal what really happened in that 3 hours? We looked through this entire joint. We didn't see it. But I know Savory's got some other clips of what was said previous about Mr. Rogan?
All right, I'm gonna play this. Let me put this. Bam.
What did
All right.
our boys say about Mr. Rogan here?
This is gonna be. Let's play. You want to play this clip first?
Yeah, let's roll that. Is that the Anderson Cooper one? What did they say about
the Nobel Prize in 2015 for use in human beings?
Yeah.
And CNN is saying I'm taking horse dewormer.
Yeah. What? So
they must know that that's a lie.
There's a lot of people saying it.
Right, but a lot of people can say it.
Okay.
Like the internet says it. Who cares?
Sure.
But CNN is saying it. Like Jim Acosta.
I meant like USA Today, a few other
Yeah,
and they're talking about ivermectin, right?
Yeah.
So what? Because I don't know. I just saw so much news about you. I mean, I would talk to you and check on you and see if you're all right. And you're like, you threw the kitchen sink at it. You said, which was stuff that you took IV drips and was it
monoclonal antibodies.
And that what is monoclonal antibodies?
The shit they.
All right. So right here, you have CNN. I mean, you have Joe Rogan. Right, talking about what CNN is talking about, and I think Macho, you're about to pull that out. But right here, ivermectin is clearly there's two variations to it. Right, they got the horse dewormer for animals, and they also have the medicine for humans. Not only did Joe Rogan take that, number one, number two, it was subscribed by his doctor. Right, by his doctor. So when you take a look at that and you think about that, are these just like the Israeli study, right? We show you the Israeli study, how they flip that. We show you ivermectin, and what are they doing? They're flipping it on its head.
How did they flip it? Because I know that you had the Anderson Cooper clip.
Yeah,
and, they talked about, because the first thing that Joe Rogan said on that show was, should I sue CNN for lying about what I took? And Cooper gives this whole reasoning behind, or the specs on the drug he was taking and how it was being portrayed, by CNN here.
Let me see if we pull that clip up.
Yeah, let's get that clip going.
Rogan, an extremely popular podcaster, announced on social media today that he has COVID. Rogan has said young, healthy people don't need to get vaccinated. In his statement on social media, Rogan said he has taken several therapeutics to recover.
Turns out I got COVID. So we immediately threw the kitchen sink at it. All kinds of meds, monoclonal antibodies, ivermectin, Z-Pak, prednisone, everything.
One of those drugs he mentioned, ivermectin, is something more often used to deworm horses.
And this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. That's what he said. I should probably sue CNN for this, for saying something like this. Is there ivermectin for horses, by the way, just to say it?
There is.
There is. But he just said that he was prescribed by his doctor. Is his doctor going to give him a prescription for horses when he's a human?
And I would say they know that. You see, so just how they took, again, let's go back. I want the audience to see the correlations of these different examples. The same way they take the Israeli study and flip it on its head. They take ivermectin, they look into it, they say, okay, two exists. Let's ignore the human. Let's tell the public he's taking horse dewormer, the animal one, even though his doctor prescribed it. So you see, there's a truth in it because it exists but what you're doing is what? You're manipulating that and saying that he took the animal one, and what? You influence millions of people who just watch TV.
Yeah.
It's the problem.
And you don't think that they're going to look into this.
Exactly.
You don't think there are people out there who are going to actually do the work to look at what they're saying on the other side. Because the reason why I still watch CNN, even though I can't stand it, I still want to know what the other side is saying. I watch a lot of conservative media, and it's not Fox, just so people know that. I watch a lot of conservative media. I read a lot of conservative papers. And I look at these things and I go, okay, I see the argument that the right is making here, but let me see what the left is saying. Because in between, we can see where the apples fall.
Yeah, exactly. Let me play this so people can hear the rest of this.
Yeah.
He says there's no evidence it works on COVID. Its increased usage has only led to a substantial increase in overdose.
By the way, there's no evidence that the vaccine is as effective as they say. I will leave it there. You could do as you please with that, but that's all I'm going to say.
Is after a push by some on the far right seeking vaccine misinformation. Perspective now from our chief media correspondent and anchor of CNN's Reliable Sources, Brian Stelter, and Dr. Lena Wen, CNN medical analyst and former Baltimore health commissioner.
All right, anyways.
It's phony stuff. It didn't happen.
I can't stand Brian Stelter. I just can't. He's terrible reporter. He's Don Lemon to me. I can't stand him. I just really can't.
Oh man.
But here's how Fox covers.
By the way,
interview. Yeah, go ahead.
By the way, can I just throw something in here really quick? This is gonna be
absolutely. We got stuff.
Check this out, guys. This is the type of stuff how the media lies and manipulate and uses people. Colin Powell, who we just spoke about, didn't die because he was vaccinated. He died because you weren't. You see that?
What?
Are you crazy?
You putting that man's death on me?
Look at the comment. That literally makes no sense. Why get vaccinated if it doesn't protect you?
Wow.
And for some humor right here. Freedom. The belief that your personal freedom outweighs the health and safety of everyone else. The point is this. If you don't think this is ridiculous, what I just highlighted, like
this
when
is
I say
unreal.
Ridiculous, I'm gonna read it again. All right, I'm gonna just read it one more time before we move on here. Colin Powell didn't die because he was vaccinated.
Yo, in real time, it's getting retweeted. In real time, it's getting liked. This is where the mindset of our countrymen are.
I'm gonna retweet this in front of our live audience right here. Hold up, I'm gonna retweet this.
Yeah, retweet that mug.
Is insane. But yeah, let's go get vaccinated.
Question mark. I would have put. The thing about this is seeing all the people that like that tells me where all the people are in the thought process, and that's why I would love all those people in our show right now. I would love it. Because I would be like, why? Just give me the heads up. If I don't get vaccinated, how did I kill Colin Powell when I'm not even near the man? I'm not even near. I would never come foot near the man. Most people in this country wouldn't come within 2 feet of the man. The guy has got security. He's protected. He's got vaccinated. He's got vaccinated people around him. I'm probably certain of it. This don't make any sense.
I had to show that. Because it was relevant to all this manipulation. Like, what? That's all that comes to mind. What?
It's the wokers. They're running our country. The wokers run America. And they're a small percentage. Since when does a small percentage, and I'm sure black people, like Dave Chappelle said about Caitlyn Jenner, he said, how she become a woman and then the next year become woman of the year? That's like all of a sudden the nigga of the year award goes to Eminem. He's like, what about us? You know what I'm saying? But I may not agree with that all the way, but I see the point.
Yeah.
How does in this country a small percentage of people now govern it? Governs the ideology, governs the way you feel, governs the way you think, the way you use the bathroom, the way you spend your money, the way you get vaccinated now. I mean, this is ridiculous now at this point. Crazy. Here's how Fox News.
Oh, okay. Let's go Fox in there.
Let's see. Look at how they cover the Joe Rogan experience. Though it may be a clip, this was a 3-hour interview. I advise all of you guys to watch this interview. It was very entertaining. Check this out.
Drugs versus drugs for veterinary.
Calling it a horse dewormer is not a flattering thing. I get that.
They're unfavorably framing it as veterinary medicine. Don't you think that a lie like that is dangerous on a news network when you know that they know they're lying? Do you think that's a problem, that your news network lies? Why did they do that?
I don't know.
That's right. There you go. That's how Fox News shows the other side of the coin. See, CNN shows Gupta as getting into the lion's den, and Fox News says Joe Rogan eviscerates him. And he doesn't just eviscerate Gupta. It's very important, and I think Fox hit it on the head here. He eviscerates CNN. He said CNN lies. Lies. And by no means, Joe Rogan is a conservative. By no means.
Yeah. He considers himself a liberal, by the way.
Yeah. So my whole thing is, he says that does that not bother you that your network lies? And he says, well, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And goes back on there to continue lying.
Yo, this is out of control. Yo, and if anything, man, I want to encourage people to really look at like we gave you tangibles of how you can look at both sides in simple way, right? This is again just two nobodies digging in a little deeper and going into like some of these topics in unique ways, bro. And we kind of hope to bring a lot of that value in different ways because again, I understand people don't have time sometimes and they don't want to dig as deep but sometimes it's right in our faces, right? I showed you a tweet, we showed you CNN, we showed you Fox News, we showed you Wall Street Journal. There's always a narrative to be pushed. It's your decision now to look at these narratives and say, yo, this is where I fall, man.
Yeah.
But this was great. We hit a lot of topics. This is Sober Monday, so every Monday we are coming at you with live topics, different variations of all kind of things we want to talk about, and we definitely appreciate everybody joining, man. Shout out to Macho. Follow my guy and myself on Twitch. We got Macho Fix 88 Savory Edition. I got the same name everywhere. My man is on Twitter as well. I'm there. Come follow us. We tweeting there. We're growing our audience. And then let me just shout out my TikTok. My TikTok is growing, by the way. Before I go to the YouTube channel, shout out to my TikTok. We are getting some momentum there. So we want to keep growing from here to the end of the year. But most importantly, man, we have a YouTube channel. The YouTube channel is called The Drinks with a Nobody. Our goal is to get that subscription up. We just launched it literally past few weeks, but we ended up uploading a lot of videos from prior. So go to our YouTube channel, Drinks with a Nobody, hit that subscribe button. Macho, let us know, man, a little more detail about who we are, what we do, man.
And we shoot live every day, Monday through Friday, right here on YouTube. So you can follow us here. We're shooting on all different platforms. We want all our viewers to go to YouTube and see us there.
Yeah, don't miss
tune
beating
in.
us.
Yeah,
might be the last episode, but at the end of the day, man,
there are no last calls here. There are no last calls at Drinks with a Nobody. So let's stay engaged. Until tomorrow, adios.